New Jersey was once a national leader in offshore wind development, but lately that momentum's taken some serious headwinds, from canceled projects to environmental controversies and even political fallout. Today we're diving into what really went wrong with the offshore wind turbines in the Garden State. Before we get started though, if it is your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. And on the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you'll be the first one to know what's going on in either Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. New Jersey had some pretty bold goals: 11,000 megawatts of offshore wind by 2040. Projects like the Atlantic Shore is backed by major players, including Shell, promise clean energy, job creation, and a major economic boost. But in early 2025, the state's offshore wind program was hit with multiple setbacks. The first one and the biggest one being, like we just mentioned, Shell withdrew. So a major backer of the Atlantic Shores project cited market uncertainty, project delays for their reasons of backing out. And that kind of catapulted into a couple other problems. The New Jersey Board of Public Utilities canceled its fourth round of offshore wind programs because Shell backed out and didn't have that money coming in. And if those two weren't enough for you, we had a permit get revoked as well. So in March of 2025, a key EPA Clean Air Act permit was revoked by the Environmental Appeals Board, just adding another roadblock in the meantime. And last but not least, a federal policy shift has kind of messed things up too. So Trump administration froze new offshore leasing in order to review of the federal wind program, pretty much just shaking investor confidence. So if I had to guess, this isn't looking too likely for our wind turbines. So far, we learned exactly why New Jersey is trying to create these wind turbines and the recent setbacks into them. But how does the public opinion really feel? Well, unfortunately for the project, it's not faring too well right now. So back in 2019, 76% of New Jersey residents supported the offshore wind. In 2023, just 4 years later, that dropped down to 50%. And if you ask coastal residents alone, that went from 77 down to 33. But what exactly is driving the opposition towards the turbines? Well, the first concern is going to be marine life, and many residents are deeply concerned with the potential impact of what the offshore wind construction on marine life, specifically whales and dolphins. And this concern grew, rightfully so, after a string of recent whale strandings along the Jersey Shore. Although federal agencies and the Marine Mammal Commission found no direct evidence linking the offshore wind activity with these deaths, the timing of it was really poor, and the emotional response definitely fueled in from the residents, and you can kind of see how that played towards the downgrade in the opinion of the public. The other major concern will be the visual impact, and I guess you can kind of toss tourism in there too. Meaning, let's just say you bought a beachfront property. Obviously, you're going to be paying a significant amount of money depending on whatever town you go into, right? It doesn't really matter if it's Belmore, Point Pleasant, Long Beach Island. Pretty much pick any town and this is going to apply. But essentially, if you're going to be paying 7 figures plus for a home and you want an ocean view, you're sitting on the waterfront, all of a sudden these turbines are going to be in the background possibly. That's going to make your next buyer potentially not want to purchase it, and if they want just a clear open shot of the ocean. Right, so your home value potentially could be impacted by this project. The second thing with the tourism is pretty similar in respect where if you're going to the beach and you're going to be seeing that in the background, we have 100+ million visitors every single summer from Memorial Day to Labor Day weekend. That might not be the best use of our funds and not attracting people to come stimulate our economy when it's the biggest part in New Jersey. Overall, though, what kind of happens now? Has the offshore wind in New Jersey completely stalled out, or is there still a future? Well, the state's clean energy goal remains an ambitious one, and Governor Murphy's administration has reaffirmed its commitment to offshore wind, even in the wake of these setbacks. Not sure if that's the best idea, but his administration also ends in June of 2026, so basically a year away from me making this video. It's hard to see that going through. But if they wanted to, what are some strategies for them? Well, they really have to reevaluate and scale it better, so future solicitors may focus on smaller scale projects rather than these larger ones like the Atlantic Shores, and this could help limit the risks, attract new bidders, and maybe align for more community engagement. The second part of that, like we just led into, would be the community and public engagement. So state agencies and developers would have to place more emphasis on public education and transparency, maybe some community feedback and open forums to kind of help rebuild the public trust a little bit. The project would also have to have a couple other breaks along the way, meaning the policies at the federal level would have to change. So while Trump's administration placed a freeze on offshore wind leasing, this has created a bunch of uncertainty, but future federal decisions after he's out of office will play probably a major role determining what happens next. And then last, I would say some technology innovation might have to happen. So maybe some type of floating turbine technology, farther offshore projects could also be explored, and that might at least help reduce the visibility and some of the concerns for the residents. So not saying this is definitely happening by any means, but these are just some options that they could look forward to if they want to ever reinvigorate the project a little bit. Although Governor Murphy recently stated, to my knowledge, that he backed nuclear power, and to my knowledge, this is also probably one of the cleaner forms of energy that we could possibly have, although it does sound slightly dangerous too. And after all of that, what do you think New Jersey should do in this situation? Keep pursuing the offshore wind, or is the cost too high? let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, so you can see more local content here on New Jersey, specifically even the Monmouth and Ocean County area. And if you are looking to make a move over the next 3, 6, or even 12 months, and you want to get an understanding on what your home is worth, don't hesitate to reach out. I do free home evaluations, and our market is always changing, especially right now for sellers a little bit, and I would like to help you out in any way possible. With that being said, have a great day. I'll catch you on the next one.